Well, the war on police continues to rage on. 5 police officers have been killed in the line of duty just this week alone. Many of the officers' names have not been released, but 2 in Maryland, 1 in North Dakota, 1 in Atlanta, and then another one in Colorado died while serving our country and keeping our communities safe. So how can we stop this war on police? Joining me now is Sheriff Paul Babeu, Jillian Melchior, and Kirsten Haglund. Sheriff, you know, you guys will never get enough credit, I don't think, for putting your lives in danger and on the line for the rest of us. But the pushback, the rhetoric, the anti-police, you know, just feeling that's permeating throughout this country. How do you deal with that?
Well, first, it's our privilege. The men and women who serve in law enforcement love this opportunity, fought very hard to get these jobs, and we just want to have that support, not just from our chain of command and all of our law enforcement agencies, but by our leaders. And it's disheartening when the leaders, the elected leaders, even all the way up to the president himself, have created and furthered this perception of distrust against our law enforcement, which has really helped set this table over the last many years for not just the distrust, but placing a target on the back of our law enforcement. And that's not just unacceptable. This has never happened before to this extent in the history of our country. Yeah, and it definitely creates an unsafe environment for our cops. You know,
I grew up in Harlem in the 1970s, and it was the most lawless place in America. And I can tell you, not having police, you know, running the police off, when the police become afraid and targets, the whole community becomes a big target.
Right, that's exactly a great point, because not only are the cops' lives in danger, and then they feel, as we know this last case in New York where the young man, a rookie cop who is sentenced, is going to be sentenced, convicted of manslaughter in this case, it makes them more nervous, but it also makes the community less safe because they feel, and now you have tons of law enforcement officers coming out and saying that they feel like they can't do their jobs as well because they're so afraid of the backlash. And what I thought was so tone deaf was that the Democratic debate last night where you have Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton both playing into one side of the narrative only, where it's like both sides of these people have the growth and trust comes from engaging both sides of that conversation.
And you know, and the conviction of the police officers shows that the law enforcement, you know, that there are times when the criminal justice system, if someone does something wrong, and believe me, everyone's a human being, there should be punishment. But the narrative, you won't hear anyone say, hey, this was you know, none of the people out there that have big megaphones are going to talk about this verdict yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I think what we're seeing is ideas having consequences. If you look from now to the beginning of the year, 8 cops shot. If you look at the same time last year, 1. I mean, this is just devastating. And as somebody who's interviewed the wife of a police officer who ended up getting shot and hearing what that's like, what that sacrifice meant to her and how she felt about it, it's so sad.
Sheriff Babeu, I know you're running for Congress. Yes. How's that run going?
We're ahead in all the polls. People are fed up, and they don't necessarily look at me, obviously, as a politician. I'm an oath keeper. I can't screw up being the sheriff because people's lives are at stake. I'm also an Army veteran, served a tour in Iraq. So at a time where there's a lot of distrust in our government, that's where the distrust is, not to law enforcement. We need leaders who are going to actually do the things that they promised to say and tackle the issues of the day.